Wesley,
Ryan.
what's happening?
Just your typical West Day sort of stuff. What's happening with you?
Yeah, pretty typical West Day sort of stuff. More dust than ever in my apartment. Uh, I hope I can stop saying that soon because I'm getting real tired of saying it. Tornado hates me.
You need help? Do you need some HEPA?
HEPA. No. I just need. If you ever, have you ever had a problem that's so bad that, but it's just going to keep getting worse that you're like, well, I can't do anything about it until it's over, right? It's like I can't. There's been dust piling up on shit, and it's like stuff I don't want dust piling up on top of. It's like consoles and like TVs and like stuff with vents, right? It's like, and there's just like a layer of dust, and I've talked about this I think on previous shows, but like the dust isn't over yet. Right, like the what's causing the dust isn't over yet, and so like I'd love to like go around and dust the whole place and open the window and like vacuum everything up, but then tomorrow I just have to do it all over again. We are getting very close to the end of the project that makes the most dust. Sirens on my end, so can only imagine. I'm just breathing all this in and getting cancer.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
You're getting cancer.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's bad. That's bad for you. It's bad for your consoles.
It's bad for my cat.
I'm glad. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm glad it's almost over.
Yeah, me too. Me too. After, I mean, I've already dealt with it for like weeks, and so once I think tomorrow is the last day I have to worry about dust, and then I can clean it. Everything will be fine. Guys, we're not going to start the show until we get 50 likes. I actually don't
do
have.
it.
I actually don't have a window open, so I'm just going to have to.
27.
20. Oh, we're going to
Right
be here
now.
all day. Let's just start the show. I'm not that patient, was. Let's go. I told Wes before the show this was going to happen, so we're just gonna. There we go. This is PSVR GamesCast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and 2 Bites Friday right here on YouTube. We do it live 6 p.m. Eastern for your viewing pleasure. But because our good friend Rypop loves you so very much, we also take care of you orally. Puts us up on podcast services of your choice. And if the show's just too damn long for you, we understand. If you're just here for a single topic, well, thank goodness there's a guy out there named Rhodey the Game Cat Army General, because he puts timestamps into the show after each and every one. If he leaves me, Wes, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's going to be the worst thing ever. My name is Brian Popnician, right here without Parole, and joining me every single West Day is the man himself. It's Wes Dillon from our sister channel, Virtual Strangers.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Brian. Thank you for continuing to consistently misgender my channel. But that's all right. I'm not easily offended, so it's okay. How's it going, man? Happy to be here. Happy to, as usual, take a break from my busy schedule to sit down in this chair, take a deep breath, and talk about PlayStation VR.
Yeah, man. I'm doing really good. I'm really happy to be doing this because I think I finally understand what it's like to be you and like just work all the time. I've been keeping an eye on without Parole, but it's like lots of uploads, lots of videos happening. We're doing this thing 3 times a week. It's crazy, man. Like I don't know what I was thinking. It was in on on the very first Monday of the month, or I guess it was the first month or the last Monday of last month where we started this. I literally looked at Skiva because AJ wasn't here. I said, "What the fuck am I doing? Like this is a horrible idea." And here we are, Wes, 9 days into the month. It is October 9th today. We are almost a third of the way through the month. Feeling like I got this shit down. I feel like I got this down. Like my mom always says, if you want something done, ask a busy person. The busier you are, the more you can get done. The more challenges you can take on. Fucking, if I'm doing this show once a week, there's no games coming out, man, I'm just gonna fucking chill in bed a lot and watch a lot of TV and not kill as many people
100%.
as I have been with all this fucking murder rags I've got up here.
100%. I actually said this very same thing to one of my superiors at work the other day when we were kind of talking about my workload and how it ebbs and flows. And, starting to pick back up, I'm starting to get busy again, but that's okay because I tend to get a lot more done when I have a lot more to do. When I don't have a lot to do, I'm a lot more lax about it. I take more breaks, and it's harder to get one thing done sometimes than it is to get 10.
Yeah.
So I completely feel you. But with that said, the keys are about to start flowing. They actually have just started to start flowing, and I imagine that that's going to be very fun yet very challenging over the next couple months.
Yeah, actually, I thought I was doing well, and then I realized, I haven't done a Metal Hellsinger review. And I was like, oh, right. Okay, I guess things are easy when you don't do when you don't do the shit you're supposed to do. But what are you gonna do? Wes, what is? I know that Roots is taking some time off. But you're still carrying the torch over there on Virtual Strangers. What is happening over there these days? If anybody doesn't know, by the way, click the link in the description below. Go subscribe to Wes. Go subscribe to his friends. They carry they carry the weight of the VR world on their shoulders, not just PlayStation VR, all VR. So if you're one of those cats that I keep seeing in Discord that's so curious about PC VR, because now you've got a PSVR2 headset and you're going to buy a PC, I think you want to go to Wes's channel and figure out all the stuff that you should be playing. So please, Wes, regale me with stories of tales of the outside VR world.
I'm hanging on by a thread, man. To be honest, without Roots, it's much more challenging to do traditional podcast episodes. Roots was always my producer, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now whenever I do want to have to do everything on my own, I do have people coming in from time to time to, talk. Like Eric comes in, he'll talk. We had Brad on recently. We're going to have other people on, probably AJ at some point, or I have a number of people who want to come on and co-host. With that said, we're getting in episodes where we can. We did Strangers in the Night this past Sunday. That was cool. The next time we do a traditional podcast will be Game of the Month. I was going to do that this week, but Eric is traveling this week, and I don't want to do Game of the Month alone. I want to have another opinion as we go through every platform. So probably this weekend sometime, we're going to do Game of the Month episode. I'm likely to do a gameplay stream or two between now and then. So there is going to be content. The other big thing that's going on is spooky season. We kicked that off on Sunday with I finished Happy Funland finally.
Woo-hoo.
And that was a blast.
The last 30 minutes is like pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, it was nuts, dude. Like nonstop event after event. And then there was a twist. I don't want to spoil it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a lot more of that game in front of me than I thought. I thought maybe I had another 60 to 90 minutes. It was more like 2 hours plus that I had left. But I enjoyed it. It was a good time. Stream is up on the channel if anybody wants to see it. The other big spooky month thing that people keep asking me about is this Here They Lie stream.
Yes.
People keep asking me, Wes, are you going to do your annual Here They Lie everywhere? Asking me here, asking me over in the channel, in the Discord. And I've always said last year was so great that I won't stream it again unless I can top it. Last year we had the creator of the game join us for about 3 hours of the gameplay stream and talk while I played through it. We had a number of the development team show up in the chat and give insight into all these little things that we were examining as we played through it. And obviously I don't want to come back with a regular just vanilla gameplay stream now after having done that last year and not be able to keep the quality standard up. So with that said, we are doing another gameplay stream this year. I'm not going to give out the details of what we're working on. I don't have the date and time set yet, but we are going to top what we did last year, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. For the record, I'm going to bottom everything I did last year, which is way gayer. Just FYI. That is
way more gay.
Way more gay. Yeah. Oh man, dude, I'm excited. I'm excited because last year's stream was epic. More sirens on my end, and I don't know how you can top it. I am excited to find out. You have not told me, and I don't want you to tell me. I want to tune in and be surprised. The only thing that could top that is really if they announced it was coming to PSVR2 with all sorts of enhancements. And now I just ruined it, like, because now it's not, that's not going to happen. And so I just made everyone.
I got
feel
nothing
bad.
like that. Yeah, I got nothing like that. I'm not making any announcements, or at least not to my knowledge. Or will we be making any kind of announcements during the stream? What I will say though is shout out to that whole team over at Eyes Out. They contacted me, Brian. They reached out to me to see if we were doing this again this year. So how awesome is that? So absolutely, we're doing it again.
That
this
is
year.
beyond awesome, dude. That is like,
yeah,
that's amazing. He must have really enjoyed being there last year.
We had a good time.
Those guys must be thrilled that all of these years after what is it? 8 years now? 8 years since that game's come out?
Yes. 8 years. Yeah.
That there's still this like kind of hardcore cult following that's just, that loves it and thinks it hasn't, thinks that it's still the seminal VR title, something that came out to launch PSVR1, didn't get the respect it deserved, and now it's kind of found its audience in a sense. I'm sure they would have much preferred for it to sell millions of copies, but like this is second best, right?
Yeah, cult following, much like his earlier title, the Spec Ops: The Line. It's gone on to garner a big cult following in the years since it came out. They're doing like meaningful work, right? Artful things that deal with, maybe not the most pleasant topics, but very real things to think about, and work like that lasts the test of time. So yeah, absolutely.
My tip window just crashed. Not enough memory to run the tip window? That's weird. Okay. Listen, guys, a couple things. Let's get this thing rolling. We're going to talk about a lot of shit today, literally and figuratively. But I definitely want to check in with the chat over here. Lots of tips have come in. Shout out to Andrew Ehrenreich, who said he was having trouble with YouTube. It wouldn't let him tip. It wasn't letting him do normal shit. Sorry, man. I don't know what's going on. I wish I knew. Professor Lilith with the $5 tip says, the Sunday multiplayer survey is now posted. Guys, if you don't know, every single Sunday, we do a multiplayer meetup over on Discord. You get these multiplayer games sitting in your library, your PSVR2 library that have not been played, or you jumped in, the lobby was empty. Guess what? We're trying to fix that. So every week we vote on a game, and then every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, we play that game as a group. And you don't have to worry about squeakers or assholes or people, because our community is amazing. Great people to play with. So the survey for what game we're playing has been posted in our Discord. Choose a discounted game. Oh, I guess all these games are on sale. Arizona Sunshine. Whoa. Legendary Tales. Instilt. She writes all, even Stilt, with monsters. It's a very spooky selection of games. Did that Color Blast multiplayer update come out for Stilt? The one that was kind of like Splatoon, where you're just bouncing around and coloring. Do you know what I'm talking about? That was a new multiplayer mode that was supposed to come out, and I don't remember if it's out or not.
Vaguely. I feel like I've heard you talk about it before. If it is out, I'm not aware of it. My son was in Stilt maybe 2 weeks ago, and it just seemed like regular Stilt at the time. It didn't seem like there had been any updates, but maybe there is now. I'm not sure.
So much fun. I love Stilt so much. Thundercat. Ho! I don't know what octave to do that in. With the 20 quid says nothing, but you know what? You don't have to say anything, man. That's like a virtual snuggle right there. It's like, hey man, okay, let's do this. Ghost Ace Gamer, the game cat, who by the way gifted 5 without Parole memberships at the end of Monday's show, and I completely forgot to tell him thank you. So thank you. With 1337 says, did you guys already cover Darksword? I don't see anyone talking about this game in our community. Hashtag Tornado needs a PS5 Pro. Yes, she does. She needs her own too. Like, it's not good enough to for her to use mine.
So I think the question is, have they patched Darksword? Because I think you gave it a minute when it came out, right? But just a minute.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the best port. But we see that often, and often it gets resolved in a patch. So that's really the question. Has it been updated? And I have no idea. Have you been back in to check it out?
I haven't, because I just haven't had the time. I figured at the very least I would give it a Brian bite to go in and check it out, and I just have not had the time. I complained that there was like click turning only, but apparently even at launch there was smooth turning. I just couldn't find the menu, I guess. But it was blurry, and I'm curious to know if that got patched. So please. Oh, Nick in the chat says, just check Discord. Confirm that color splash mode is out for Stilt. Woohoo! That means that's my vote for Sunday. Stilt, always. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm interested in getting back into this one. But you played it on PC a little bit, right?
Quest. I played it on Quest. And yeah, no, I really enjoyed the game on Quest. It's very difficult. Has a roguelike progression system that is hardcore. So there's a lot of dying involved early on to power yourself up and unlock weapons and such. But it's like an arcade style, arena based, like hack and slash game with some like magic and sorcery stuff in there as well. A pretty good production value. Looks good, sounds good, plays good. I liked it, enjoyed it quite a bit.
Excellent. Well, hopefully it's getting the patches that it needs, because yeah, it definitely looked a little rough when I got in there. But yeah, I'll give you an update. You know what? Listen, I've got so much to do. I get new games to play. I've got. I want to go in and check out some Beat Saber DLC that I never got around to. I'll definitely load this up. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time on my PSVR2 over the next couple of days, and I will do my best to at least drop into this for like 10, 20 minutes at the minimum before Friday's show, and we'll give you an update, Ace Gamer, and we'll see what happens. Waleed is now GameCast, specifically White Tiger with level 1 membership. Says here for backup timestamps if Rhodey leaves. Waleed,
Boom.
I feel like Rhodey's already doing this 3 days a week, right? I feel like that's more than anybody should be doing. So maybe we can hand off responsibilities or something like to Waleed 1 day a week, just to kind of like spread it around a little bit, right? Make sure no one gets burnt out on timestamps. But I appreciate the offer, Waleed. We'll definitely keep in touch.
This is exactly what I was going to say when you were going through your whole thing, and you were saying, I don't know what I would do if Rhodey didn't do it.
Yeah.
I thought to myself immediately, somebody else would step up immediately and do it, because the community's so awesome. I know this has been the case for me in my community. People are always volunteering to do the things that I don't have time to do. And I know the same is true for you. And there's just proof positive of it right there.
Yeah. Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry did the timestamps for so long that when he was like, and I'm done, which with all due respect, fucking yeah, dude, like I would be done after all those years too. Like that was an insane amount of time to do it. I was like, oh, I guess we're just not doing timestamps anymore. And Rhodey immediately was like, I'll take care of it. Like, amazing. It takes a village, Wes. It takes a village. Sorry, I think it's a dumb expression, but I use it so frequently. YYZTHCTV. That all kind of rolls off the tongue strangely well. With a Canadian $20 tip, says, appreciate the content. Keep up the amazing work. So stoked for Haunt and Seek. Siren needs more exposure. Much love. Why do I feel like this is a developer, Wes? Listen, we are going to talk about Haunt and Seek Siren in a little bit here. I have not played it. However, the developer did reach out to the developer and Wes and give us a Steam key, and Wes got to play it. So we're going to be talking about that in a lot of detail very soon. So stick around. And then the Game Cat Andrew Ehrenreich gifted one without Parole membership. So that worked. At least that worked. I'm glad it's not completely broken for you, Andrew. All right. Let me take a look at this real quick. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and I think I had actually asked people in Discord. I was like, we need viewer takeover questions, right? Because I love kicking off every show with a viewer takeover question, but we actually have so much to talk about that, like, I think we kind of need to skip the viewer takeover questions. Don't worry, I think Miles and I will have time to tackle like 2 or 3 of them on Friday. So thank you everybody who submitted a question, and hopefully you'll see your question on Friday. Also, Miles is in the chat. What's up, Miles? I always love it, man. I always love on the 8th or ninth day of the month, Wes, when Sony reveals the top downloads on the PlayStation Store. And I think it is time to go over and check this out. We got all of the top downloads for September 2024. Have you taken a look at this list yet?
I am looking at it as we speak.
Excellent. I really have not taken a look at it. So let's see.
Wow.
What is happening here?
That's what I thought too when I saw Survivor Man on both lists. What the hell?
There, I see the problem. This should work now. There we go. Yeah, sales do wonderful things, Wes. Sales do crazy things. So let's scroll down, skip over all this nonsense like flat screen games and go straight to PSVR2 games. Start at the bottom of the list. Looks like we got Waltz of the Wizard and Prison Boss. Interesting Prison Boss, man. It must have been on sale. That got a PSVR2 remaster, so it's cool to see that people are paying attention to it a little bit. But also, I guess it's that sequel, Prison Boss Prohibition, that just got announced. That maybe has some renewed interest in the original game. Like, see what the sequel's all about. Waltz of the Wizard, Survivor Man: The Descent, Gun Club VR 9, 8 is Creed and Madison VR. Good to see Madison there. Never a bad thing to see Creed. Gun Club Gun Club is number 7 for the US. Creed is number 7 for EU. There's Madison at number 6 for the US. Among Us VR number 6 for EU. Among Us there in the US. Arizona Sunshine 2. Arizona Sunshine 2 is number 4 in the States. Pavlov's number 4 in the EU. Oh my God. Okay, these are so close. These are so close. I should have taken a look at this ahead of time. Yeah, so the top 5 is Arizona Sunshine 2, Among Us VR is Arizona 2, Pavlov, Beat Saber, then Into the Radius. Listen, great to see Madison cracking the top 10. I know there's been some sales. There's been some sales on the physical version as well. But maybe this has something to do with it being October and people wanted to get their spooky game on, right? So they picked it up prepping for October.
Yeah. Or so these are September sales.
Yep.
So it has nothing to do with our spoiler cast. I was about to take full credit for it.
Well, I mean, listen, we did tell people the spoiler cast was coming in October, so
that's true.
We can take some credit for it.
That's true. But it's good to see some some modern VR titles amongst the kind of titles that we see here month in and month out. Madison, Arizona Sunshine 2, and most notably at the top of both lists, Into the Radius, which is an excellent game and deserves to be at the top of both lists.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like, obviously I kind of hear everything, right? Because people, like, if they've got a complaint and they leave it on my review or they talk about it in Discord. So I sort of take the brunt of some of this stuff. But for all the complaints about people being like, oh, it's kind of janky or whatever, this or that, like even I complained about the jank in the review, climbing isn't great. And, this, you accidentally grab things you don't mean to grab. There's a bunch of little things. Some people couldn't get over that. Some people couldn't get over that and then missed out on an amazing game. But anybody who did get over it or didn't find it to be that irritating, everybody seemed to get hooked on it. Like almost universally, people I didn't think were going to get hooked on it. I'm not going to say any names, but you know who you are. Right now, I'm talking about you. And it was like, holy crap, I can't believe he's still playing this game. Because it was like, because there's a huge difficulty curve and there's a lot to learn. But I think a lot more people were like me than I thought they were going to be. A lot of people were like, this seems really difficult. And then, like, for whatever reason, that helped propel them forward. That made them kind of enjoy the struggle and enjoy the victories even more, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what this game does. It's while it's not like the most hardcore textbook survival game, it is very much a survival experience. It's what you're basically trying to do when you go out on each run is survive first and accomplish your goal second, because you can always just abort mission, go back home and try again tomorrow to get whatever it was that you set out to find. So yeah, it's a survival experience first, even if it doesn't have all these hardcore survival mechanics in it that you might find in a game like Green Hell or something like that, for example.
Miles with the level 2 membership. What's up, Miles? Says, to be honest, Survivor Man is a spooky game. You deal with a ghost throughout. It Survivor Man was, I think, was on sale for like $2 or something, and I remember even telling people, I was like, I mean, if you want, like, I'm so happy that Miles did a full playthrough of that, or most of a playthrough. I can't remember what it was on Miles' channel, but I enjoyed watching the playthrough more than I enjoyed playing it. I'll say that. So if you're curious, just go watch Miles's video.
Yes, do that.
Yeah. So, pretty interesting story. This was really presented to me as, Brian, if you don't have anything to talk about on Gamescast, boy, do I have a story for you as filler. And the second I was told about it, I was like, that's not fucking filler. That's headline news. And that's that. Here, I'm just going to bring it right up on screen so we can all read it together. What? Oh, God, I hate you so much, IGN. I hate you so much, IGN. This is so irritating. Can I? Nope. Okay, I can't do anything about this. I don't know what's wrong. All right, I'm just going to read it off my screen. IGN reports PlayStation Move controller used to perform surgery on a pig that was 5,780 miles away. A group of surgeons in Switzerland recently made headlines after they managed to perform an endoscopic procedure on a pig located in Hong Kong. And they did it all with the help of a PlayStation Move controller. The medical feat came about as a collaboration between the Faculty of Medicine at the Chinese University of Hong Kong and ETH Zurich. It involved the use of a PS5 DualSense controller as well as a Move controller. It's an operation that allowed the surgeons to successfully operate on a pig with full control despite the 5,700 miles between them. I don't even know, like, we don't even need to read the rest of the article. Wes, if you were going to perform surgery on a pig 6,000 miles away, and somebody was like, well, which VR controller has the best tracking? Like, how do you come to the conclusion that the Move controller of all controllers, and don't get me wrong, I like the Move controllers. I think if you have proper light setup, it's pretty damn accurate. But every so often that thing goes or starts drifting, and you're like, shake, 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 and it'll be fine. Poor pig, man. The poor pig. This baffles me. That this was something they decided to do.
I have so many questions, Brian. So many questions about this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. How bad must your budget be at this surgery center that this is the technology that we decide to use for our remote surgery? Now, there's a number of possible explanations for this. First of all, this could be a groundbreaking new surgery that was inspired by the second level of Rush of Blood, which, of course, where you take your Move controller and mutilate giant pigs. The other explanation that I could come up with is maybe the team of surgeons is the actual development team of Golem, and they're experts at using a gamepad in one hand and a Move controller in the other.
Oh my goodness!
Outside of that, I have no more jokes to plug in here.
That's all I got, man. That's all I got. We don't even need to continue the article. It gets real technical. It gets real boring. We tackled the important part. This is silly. If this had happened in 2016 or 2017, Wes, I'd be like, that's really fucking cool. In 2024, yeah. I'm like, somebody send these people a pair of Sense controllers. Well, and a PSVR2 headset, because they don't come separately.
The battery must be terrible in that thing by now. They don't make them anymore. These controllers debuted in what, 2013 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I forget. It was even before that, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Although I will say, I think both of the Move controllers I have are still the PS3 original ones, and the battery life kicking butt, man. Like the last time I used them, which was 2 years ago, like they'd last for 4 or 5 hours, maybe 5 or 6 hours. So
I wonder if they had to cover up all the mirrors in the room.
right, right, and it can't be too bright, it can't be too dark. This guy, dude, like who's performing the operation? Fucking PSVR Frank? Because if you don't have if you don't have somebody who's familiar with how that room needs to be set up, it's not gonna go well, right? Like that, it took trial and error. I don't know, man.
Next thing you know, the military in Korea is going to be sending robot drones in the war that are controlled by aim controllers or something.
Everyone's like, how come those droids are shaking their guns every so often?
Right. Every 5 minutes, shaking it out.
If you know, you know. Shout out to Dratz Ebb, who gifted 1 without parole membership. Kick ass. The most generous community on the face of the planet. Moving on. Bro, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, but the developers, the publishers of Exorcist Legion VR, Fun Train, were talking about the Exorcist Legion VR, and that, and actually, let me just read you their post that they put on Reddit. They said, we've been working hard here at Fun Train VR to release new Exorcist content. I want to share this teaser with r/VR gaming and let folks know this will be a free update. It's a great time to refresh yourself with the Exorcist story and play through the original game to prepare for this epilogue. So, Wes, I emailed Fun Train and I said to them, I think this is such a great idea. This series is from 2018. I was like, and you've got a new episode coming for just this classic. And this is great. This is great. So so I was like, who's developing it? And is it coming to PSVR 2? And I will tell you this, Wes. Let me make sure I bring up the little epilogue teaser here while we talk about this. Here's what they said to me. They said it's not a new episode. They said it's just a preview of this new narrative. Hold on. For some reason, I've still got this wrong screen up. Amazing. All right. Much better. Sorry. Here we go. So I said specifically, it's an epilogue, not a new episode, and is a tease for a new narrative to come. And as far as developers concerned, they said it's concepted and developed by Venturion, who was responsible for the work on the Quest 3 update. PSVR 2 is possible, but will be dictated by sales and market conditions.
So what that means is, yes, it's coming to PSVR 2 years from now. it will eventually come. They have been, Fun Train has been really good about eventually getting around to updating and supporting their titles on all platforms, including original PSVR 2. They're still supporting, obviously, Exorcist VR everywhere. I had suspected that this was going to be the case, Brian. I did not reach out to Fun Train for comment, but when they were teasing this announcement on social media, you could tell that they were carefully wording what they were saying there, that this was an epilogue. They weren't selling it as a new chapter. They were making it clear that the new content or what have you will be taking place within the police station, which is kind of the hub world where you go into each episode from. So when I noticed that, my thought was, obviously this is viral marketing, right? They've been working on a sequel to this title for 2 or 3 years now, and they're finally starting the first little bit of promotion that should lead into the launch for that title, which I would have expected to get this month,
right?
But assuming I would assume it's probably going to come sometime next year now. But this is nice. This is a good idea, man. I wish we had more games leading into sequels like this with free updates that have little story bits in them.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, like if yeah, if we were just given like kind of like free little like 10-minute things, give you give you a reason to go back and play the old game, give you a reason to jump back in. Uh, I think it's a really cool idea. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a very cool idea. I don't like how all this went down. You know, like Wolf and Wood were the developers of this original game, and then
Yeah.
like and then Exorcist Legion VR Sin got announced, safety in numbers, and they were as shocked as anybody. They were like, we had nothing to do with this. We weren't even asked about it. We weren't consulted. Nothing. And so here's what concerns me, Wes. If this is kind of the lead in to safety in numbers, which I mean, I can't imagine they announced a new Exorcist game 3 years ago, and then they decided to ditch it, and now they're like, okay, but there's a different Exorcist game that we're working on now. I'm assuming this is the lead into safety in numbers.
Right.
My concern is the last time I believe the last time we've heard about Sin and was that it was being developed by Pocket Money Games, and Pocket Money doesn't have the greatest reputation. They're fine, right? They were the one who did Twilight Zone, right? But they're a dramatic step down or a drastic step down from Wolf and Wood. And so, but then we have Fun Train saying that this is going to be made by Venturion, who was responsible for the Quest 3 updates. So now I'm completely confused, right? I feel like this is kind of like bouncing from one studio to another, and it's like but the one studio whose hands it probably should be in are the one studios not involved. I get real nervous about this stuff.
Yeah, I would like to know how this game, what the inception of the original Exorcist game was. Was this something that Wolf and Wood had, and they looked for a publisher, which turned out to be Fun Train? That's the typical story for most games that have this type of developer publisher relationship. But I'm inclined to believe that it was probably the opposite here. Fun Train probably had the IP, and they went looking for Wolf and Wood, or looking for someone, and they settled on Wolf and Wood to do that original version, which they did a pretty good job of. But this has kind of been the MO with Fun Train, right? They've had Pocket Money Games, they've had Wolf and Wood, they've had Stone Punk Studios have worked with them, VR Monkeys worked with them.
That's right.
This Venturion, they kind of just depending, and again, like they'll pull in different dev studios to work on the same game, just on different platforms. So like, VR Monkey will be working on the PSVR version of a game, while Venturion's doing the Quest version of the game, but it's being developed by Stone Punk or something. So I hate to speculate from the outside. I'm sure that the amount of money they have to invest in having the game developed is probably got a lot to do with who they end up going with. But you're right, Brian. I mean, you get what you pay for. That's one of the core lessons of life. No matter what you're dealing with, you get what you pay for, and hopefully, with a franchise and a title that has some hype behind it and some fan following, hopefully they would be willing to invest to get the best studio for the job to do at least the base version of the next title. And then if they want to pay, freelancers to come in and port the thing over to other platforms, fair enough.
Yeah.
But your concern's legitimate for sure.
Well, listen, while we're talking about Wolf and Wood Interactive, which we don't have an excuse to do very often, they're a great studio. It was so good seeing the Exorcist Legion VR come over to PSVR2, which of course was handled by Port Studio VR Monkey, always kicking ass and taking names over there. But then we got Hotel R&R, which is another awesome Wolf and Wood game. Now the question is, it's spooky season, Wes. Where is A Chair in a Room, Greenwater? That game
That is a good question.
is so good, right? So much more suspense than jump scare, so much more atmosphere than more like it lets your imagination takes over rather than just showing you, right? It's like tell, don't show. It's like the opposite of what you're supposed to do, and it's just there's something very special about Chair in a Room, Greenwater that like I really, really, really hope we get a PSVR2 port of that. If not this October, then next October. Like, we've got plenty of stuff happening this October. I can wait.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. It's more of a psychological thriller, but it's definitely a cool story with some cool environments, and it was fun to play through. It did have that signature Wolfenwood jank
Yeah.
to it in the interactions, but very enjoyable experience. So yeah, I don't know what Wolfenwood's working on right now. Hopefully, if they're in between projects, this would be something that they could spend some time on and to bringing over to PSVR2. And if they are working on something else, I mean, there are plenty of freelancers out there, I'm sure, that would love to jump in and help them port this thing over. So, agreed. Chernobyl Greenwater is a good one, and I'd like to see it come over to the platform at some point.
Prentice Summer Scales in the chat says Hotel R&R was one of the best physics-based games on PSVR1 and had substance. That is 100% true, and it kills me. I don't know when Hotel R&R came to PSVR2, but I know it happened. There must have been 100 other things happening because I jumped in for 5 seconds, said, "Oh, this looks really good," and then I have never played it again. I mean, I played the crap out of it and reviewed it on PSVR1, but I just haven't had time to get back to it. And I really want to. That game is underrated. Not enough people talk about that. Talk about underrated games.
Never played it. Never played it one time.
What? Well, now I got to change the fucking game for 20 questions.
It looked a little shallow to me, honestly. Like, it looked cool. Looked like it had a cool concept and a cool vibe, but I don't know. I think there were a lot of other things coming out when that one launched, and I just didn't get around to it.
It does feel shallow when you start. It's like you're in this tiny little hotel room and it says cause chaos, and you just have your fists and you're punching the walls and you're hoping you can break something. You're breaking plates and whatever, just trying to break stuff that you could break with your fists. And then, like, fast forward a couple hours, right? And you are destroying entire walls and because you keep unlocking more and more weapons, the more destruction you cause. And so it's very much about replayability. And like, you want it has that. I don't even know what you would call it. It's just the thing that makes you want to replay. Like, I don't even want to progress through that game. I don't even want to play the next level or the level after that. It's like, I want to become intimately familiar with this level and figure out every single way that I can destroy everything that's in this place. And then they keep giving you a little bit more, like some more weapons to buy in order to destroy even more. And like, you just keep going back and like, I'm gonna fuck this place up. It's great. A lot of fun.
Miles concurs in the chat.
Your long shadows in the chat says, I know it's for construction reasons, but having Brian's apartment covered in plastic sheets is on theme for spooky season. I'm glad I didn't think about it before the show, because I would have taken it down and been like, oh, I got to make sure this place looks okay when we do the show. And then, I turned on the camera. I was running late getting the show started with Wes. And as soon as I saw the background of the camera, I was like, this is fucking on point for spooky season. This works perfectly.
Brian's been processing fentanyl in his room.
I know not of what you speak. Wes, we need to talk about Haunt and Seek, Siren. As I mentioned earlier, this is a game that there are little clues that developers give me that a PSVR2 game is on its way. And that first clue is that they've developed a game and released it on another platform, Quest, Steam, perhaps. And then the clue that they give me is they follow me on Twitter when it clearly says, PSVR all over the place. And so I'd heard about this game, Haunt and Seek, Siren, and then I looked and saw the developer follows me, and I was like, it's time for a little DM chat. And he was like, yeah, it is coming to PSVR 2 later this month. And I was like, what? Later this month? Like, what is... But this month is crowded. Next month is crowded. The rest of 2024 is crowded. Like, maybe you should tell someone. And so I was like, well, we're definitely going to talk about this on tomorrow's show. And I looked at the trailers and I was intrigued, Wes, because they look, this is a one-person dev team. But we've had plenty of great games by one-person dev teams. There's been even games that maybe don't look great or, could maybe this thing's lacking because they're a small studio. You still see the thing that they're trying to get across, the thing that they're trying to impart on the player. And so I was hopeful until literally 47 minutes ago when I talked to you before the show and you said, "All right, I played it on Steam." Wes, can you tell me what the fuck this game is about and why we should or should not be excited for it?
All right. First of all, again, shout out to the developer and a big thank you. We do appreciate you providing a review key for this. This is the game that I did notice when it hit Steam a few months ago, and chose not to cover it at the time because it was pretty obvious from the reviews that it had some work to do on it. The reviews were pretty negative. There was a lot of jank, a lot of things missing, and from the developer's response, you could tell that more was coming to the game. With that said, recently it got a fairly substantial update on Steam, according to the notes on the Steam community page. So we got in there today and checked it out. Just for the record, I take no great joy in what I'm about to say, but this game should not be coming to PlayStation this month.
Wow.
Still quite a lot of work to do on this game. And, if you have any comments or questions for me, Brian, cut me off before I go on.
Oh, I'm sure I'm going to have a
10-minute.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching watching your footage now, and I am wondering what the hell is going on here.
Yeah, there was a lot of that when I was playing, a lot of wondering what the hell is going on. So I get into the game. On my second attempt, my first attempt, my hands just froze up in the menu screen. So I had to restart the game and to get it to work. On the second boot, I was able to load the game. When you load into the game, you find yourself on the porch of a cabin. The game does have a pretty distinctive art style, and it looks good at times. The art style is kind of this. Everything's being lit by this like neon pink light,
Mm-hmm.
and all of the structures around you kind of have this silhouette look to them. So it's very much like art house movies or like weird indie comics from back in the day. It's very abstract, the art style, but it looks pretty cool at times, and it does set a vibe. So I will give it that. It looks pretty cool from
Cool.
time to time.
I'm happy so far.
Yeah. Well, so I'm standing on the porch, and as I'm just kind of looking around, trying to get my bearings on what's happening and where I'm at, I noticed something in my peripheral vision when I turn my head over here, something pink just right up next to my eye. And you can only see it when you turn your head. You can't see it when you're just standing still. But after I realized that, yeah, there's definitely something there, I reach up and just grab in that space to see if there's something I can pull off. And sure enough, there was like an old 1992 style wireless telephone that was just stuck to the side of my face to start the game.
Okay.
For whatever reason, and it was there, and I pulled it off. Said, "Okay, fine," and then I just kind of stuck it back there and proceeded. I noticed just off the porch there was a table with firearms on it. Everything was so dark that I couldn't really tell if there was any ground to walk on. But I did give it a shot, and sure enough, I could walk to the table. I was playing seated at that time, and the table was pretty much up to my chin. I would go on to learn that in the menu settings, that it is listed as seated mode. So I don't know if it was just mislisted as a seated mode. There is a squat function that does work, but I was forced to stand in seated mode. And for what it's worth, I couldn't get the mode to toggle in the
Gotcha.
menu. It just stayed on seated, no matter what I did. You got something?
I'm just I'm I'm actually surprised that this has a backpack feature. You're over at the ammo table and you've got a backpack in one hand and you're putting ammo in the backpack with the other hand. It looks very Saints and Sinners
Yeah,
like in terms of at least that UI functionality.
it's got a big backpack. Yeah,
Nice, cool.
yeah. No, I just kind of found that by accident. So I started with the machine gun, like the full automatic rifle.
Hmm.
Put a clip in it, chambered around, shot it a little bit. It was okay, but the big problem I had with it was the buttstock of the gun was colliding with my in-game body. So when I would try to aim with it, it would get stuck on my shoulder,
Oh,
and I couldn't really aim down sights with it.
okay.
Um, Eventually, after I stood up, I was able to work around that. But playing in a chair, I just couldn't use it. I moved on to the pistol, and the pistol worked well. It shot good. It sounded better than the automatic rifle, so I holstered that one. I started trying to holster clips. It uses force grab. I put one clip in kind of like a body slot. There's like a circle on your body, and it went in.
Kind of like a
The
holster.
next one would not. So I guess you can only hold one clip on your body.
Okay.
So I started to try to put them in my backpack. No, I didn't. I hadn't discovered my backpack. I went to grab another clip with the force grab and accidentally grabbed the shotgun next to it. And in the process of grabbing the shotgun, it knocked all of my pistol clips off into the void. So when I tried to lay the shotgun back down on the table, it disappeared. I assumed somewhere on my person, but I couldn't find it. And then when I was trying to reach around to see if I could find where the shotgun went, that's when I discovered the backpack.
Okay.
And then I started loading it up with pistol clips.
I know I'm a little ahead of you here on footage, right? Because there's a little delay that
yeah.
you're seeing. But you just tried to open the door, and the door fell into the cabin,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
Yeah. So I walk in the cabin right after I get my weapons. I notice a sign that says story mode, but I do notice that the cabin is explorable, so I do take a minute to kind of look around the cabin, see what else is in there. If you go through the cabin, there are slots for you to put things to save them. So this tells me that maybe at some point there's going to be some kind of looting mode or this might be my home base
Hmm.
at some point that I can come back and keep stuff. And I also noticed that there's a room with other gameplay modes, two other gameplay modes, one of them unlockable by finishing story mode, and the other one coming soon, not in the game yet.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So we go back to story mode. I hit the button to get into the story mode. It loads up and kind of just puts you in this map of this apartment building. In kicks the voice acting, which wasn't bad. I mean, I wouldn't call it great voice acting, but it sounded like normal people, right? Talking. Your character gets a phone call. He answers the phone. It's his girlfriend. And she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he's like, I'm trying to get some shit done right now." And she's like, "Well, I miss you. I love you." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, thanks, whatever. Let me call you back." And then he hangs up and he's like, "Man, she's so fucking annoying." Um, Immediately, he gets another phone call on the back of that. This is his boy, his friend calling, "Hey, bro, what's up?" No, just chilling at the place here, trying to get ready. Um, they have a little back and forth conversation, and the friend tells him the stuff is behind the refrigerator. Says it like 3 times. The stuff is behind the refrigerator, bro. The stuff's behind the refrigerator. So just as he's saying this, I find the refrigerator's right in front of me. I notice a glowing pink bag
Hmm.
on the table behind the refrigerator.
I also
I
witnessed
grab it.
the glowing pink bag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I grab it. Nothing happens. And then this giant monster spawns into the room and just walks in place. And I can't figure out what to do from here. I think maybe I glitched the game because I grabbed the pink bag before he had told me that it was behind the refrigerator. So
Uh-huh.
maybe I just went too fast for the game. but I rebooted it and started over again and waited for the dialogue all to finish out before I went upstairs and grabbed the pink bag.
Okay.
And same thing. I grabbed the pink bag. The monster comes into the room. It doesn't kill me. I sit right in front of it. I try to throw shit at it. Things clip into its face and get stuck for a minute and come out. Things around the apartment, as I step to them, disappear completely. Like they go in and out. Um, it was just pretty much a complete janky mess that I couldn't figure out how to what the next thing to do was. And at that point, I just gave up and sent you my footage. But
Okay.
that's it. That's my experience.
So YYZTHCTV in the chat, who claims not to be the developer, but somebody who has helped the development, says there's a button behind the fridge.
There's a button. I didn't see the button. I
um,
looked.
yeah. Look, this is very interesting to me, right? Because we don't get, usually games get a little bit further into development before they make their way over to the PlayStation Store, at least on PlayStation VR. Like usually they're in early access for a while. Usually they go through lots of iterations, and then finally make their way out of early access and then find their way here. I am a little bit nervous that maybe this game is, getting to PlayStation a little bit too early before it's really, found its footing on other headsets. That being said, I'm very curious still, even though you had a rough experience with it. I am still very curious about this, and we'll be obviously checking it out if it actually does make it to PlayStation VR2 this month. But Wes, as always, I appreciate your honesty and your dedication to the cause. This is I was not gonna be going into Steam VR today, no matter what. And so if you didn't do it, we would not have the knowledge of what this was right now.
Now, they obviously they have a foundation here to build on. I'm not trying to say that this is like a lost cause or anything by any means. It just seems like it needs more work,
Yeah.
honestly. The visual style is pretty cool in it. The vibe that it sets is pretty cool. The weapons and mechanics, while somewhat basic, they certainly weren't broken. The weapons worked for the most part. The reload on the shotgun was a little strange, but I figured it out eventually. But yeah, I think that if they continue to work on it, obviously I would recommend extensive play testing and iteration upon iteration before really trying to market this game on any platform. It's a shame that this game is not designated as early access, I don't think anymore. And yeah, I think that they're going to have a difficult time getting this through the Sony process by the end of the month. I would be shocked. But I'm willing to help. If you all want like more feedback, more testing, I'll be glad to check out each successive build and let you know what I think. But as of right now, it's just I play VR games all day, every day. This is what I do for a job. Like it needs work, and that's that.
Tell us more about your job, Wes. Reveal secrets. Ha 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 ha.
I can't. We jumped over that.
Yeah, we did.
Topic.
Well, you can't. We can't talk about everything that happens on every single show. We run out of time.
That's right.
Quick shout out to Izzard in the chat, who with the £5, who says, "Okay, I read the study. It was a PlayStation Move navigation controller. Oh, and they killed the pig afterwards." That is such a misleading story. Then that is such a misleading story because navigational controller doesn't have any motion stuff in it. No motion stuff, no tracking stuff. At least I think it recognizes when you shake it in one way or another. Thanks for ruining the story, Izzard. No, Shapeshifter are the anomaly game cat. Gifted 5 without Parole memberships. Thank you very much. Very generous. Lots of people becoming without Parole member. Remember, guys, if you are a member, I believe it gives you one free super chat every month. So heads up, if you were gifted one, now you can use the super chat. All right, Wes.
This is what I don't understand here on the screen. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
like, So there's supposedly a button behind it. Look at this giant phone, by the way, that just like I took it off of my face. I was going to throw it at the monster, and it became as big as the monster. Um,
Well,
so they
maybe you figured it out.
the
Now you have a monster-sized weapon for the monster.
yeah, it's the Monster Phone DLC. Um, so there's a button behind the refrigerator, but I would have never known it because there's an item back there, a distinctive looking item that tells me that's the thing behind the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go to get that item, the giant monster spawns into the room. Like, why's that thing there? It's not attacking me. It's just hanging out in the room. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just ranting a little bit now.
Now, if anything else that comes up on the footage, please let me know. I think this is the beginning of it again, right? Yeah, I think it
that was
over.
the end. That was when I said, you know what? Giant phone. Yeah, we're done. We're done here.
Oh man. All right, dude. Well, let's do a little 5-minute challenge. I'm the host, so that means I've got a game picked out. I think. Do I have a game picked out? Where the hell is?
It was Hotel R&R, but I blew it for you.
No, I was just joking. It wasn't really Hotel R&R. Man. I almost feel bad. Like I don't mind putting AJ through the ringer and being like, oh, this one's gonna hurt. But like, I don't know, man. Like I try to make it a lot more fair for you and Miles. All right, we're gonna see. We're gonna see if how this one goes. So I'm gonna put the 5-minute clock up, guys. Don't forget, Wes is gonna need all the help you can give him. So he's got 5 minutes. You guys all have 5 minutes. Infinite number of yes or no questions. Figure out what PSVR 1 or PSVR 2 game I'm thinking of. You ready, Wes?
I am indeed ready.
On your mark, get Des. Go.
Is this a horror game?
Adjacent. It's not scary, but it is in the horror family because, yes.
So spooky, most likely. Is it spooky? Would you call it spooky?
No. No,
so it's not spooky. Okay. All right. Is this game on PSVR 2?
No.
Is this game on any other platform other than PlayStation VR 1?
Yes.
So it's a multi-platform game. Does it support flat?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a flat game.
Whoa, you're halfway there.
Does it support VR on any other platform besides PSVR?
Oh, this is going to have to be an I believe so statement.
Okay. So it's a flat game. Is it based on a known IP?
No.
Does it have any sequels?
No.
Okay. No sequels, no known IP. Is it good?
I liked it.
Okay. Sci-fi?
No.
Psychological thriller?
No.
Stealth?
No.
Okay. Is it a zombie game?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the horror
is it
connection.
First person?
No.
No. Is this an arcade style game?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that Awesome Tatum has it.
Damn you, Tatum.
I can't ask you that. Would you say this is cartooning?
Yeah.
Support multiplayer?
Yes.
Yeah. Is this Bloody Zombies, Brian?
This is in fact Bloody Zombies, which came out scroll September 11th, 2017.
9/11.
It is indeed.
Never forget.
Bloody Zombies. Yep. This is I really enjoyed this one. This was an early example for us being like, wait, what's VR gonna do to this? And it's like, well, nothing. It just gives it a sense of scale, and you can look left and right all the way down the street.
Right, you can look down the street. That's the big thing.
Yeah, and like since it had a kind of a not quite Parappa the Rapper, but all the characters were 2D sprites, right? They were flat, and so that didn't do anything special on the flat screen version. But in VR, it made all the characters look really cool, right? Because you had the depth of the environment, but all the characters were flat, and it was like paper cutouts fighting paper cutouts. It was cool.
Yeah. It was cool. A game I probably should have played more. I did pick it up early on before I had all these VR headsets because it was an opportunity to play multiplayer with multiple family members.
Yeah.
With some of them playing on flat screen and some of us playing in VR. But I barely spent any time in it. I was too busy playing other stuff, I guess.
Well, I can tell you, Wes, that I think the thing that really crippled the multiplayer for me was the fact that there was no in-game voice chat. And so if you just hopped in and waited for a random person to show up, like they're not on your friends list, like it's going to take, if you really send them a chat invitation or whatever through the place, you're not going to do that. Right. And so sometimes you're playing the game with like, two other people and you can't even talk to them and talk about, strategizing and be like, oh, like you guys go take care of that guy while I take care of these smaller guys over here. It's nothing. Right. And so the multiplayer felt a little bit soulless because you couldn't communicate with the people that you needed to communicate with. But if you're going in with a group of friends, obviously you could make a party chat ahead of time. So,
absolutely.
Real quick here. Is this tornado time? Is it tornado time again? Come here.
Tornado time, baby.
Look. Hey, look. Do I have anything crinkly? Huh? Anything crinkly? Huh? What's going on? Huh? No, this isn't going to happen. She's not nearly as interested in USB cables as I was hoping. Oh, come on. Just say hi one time. No, you don't want to say hi one time? All right, that's her butt. Everybody, tornado's butt. All right. Wes, thank you so much for hanging out today. Always a good time. Appreciate you being here. And of course, playing through Steam game for us. It's got such a long name. Silent. What is it?
Hunt and Seek. Silent Siren.
And there's multiple games called Hunt and Seek, right? Like I searched Steam Store and there was like another one, and I was like, this is confusing. Like, what are we even doing here? Actually,
I think maybe there was. I don't want to speak out of school. I'm thinking maybe that all those search results are connected in some way. But
there's Hyde's Hunt and Seek. That was what came up here. Coming soon, developed by Small Games, but that's not VR. So I don't know. Maybe I'm confused. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I love that we're in the midst of October. Great things are happening. I gotta get to work because I have a lot more work to do on tomorrow's part 2 of the PSVR1 horror game retrospective. Not only did I make a bunch of updates to part 1 and including that in part 2, but I also have all part 2, and so there's a lot of like tidying up, and so that will not be happening at midnight tonight. It'll probably be closer to like noon tomorrow. But that's it, man. That's it. Make sure you go subscribe to Wes and his friends at Virtual Strangers. Click the link in the description below while you're at it. Make sure you come join our Discord. Subscribe to AJ. Subscribe to Miles. Say hi to Tornado. And that's it, man. That's it. Thanks to everybody who helps the channel out. Appreciate everybody over on patreon.com/withoutparole everybody that's a member over here, everybody who tips during the show, all of the mods, everybody who hangs out in the chat, which is way more important than any money, I promise. So just good that you're here. But also there's another group of people that sit back and watch the show and don't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there and we love you just as much. Isn't that right, Tornado? That's right. Yeah. Happy Wednesday, Wes.
Happy Wednesday, Brian. Happy Wednesday, cats. See you all very soon.
Let's go. All right, Wes. So now that we're back to 3 days a week, we got to make each day special, right? Friday is Miles' day, and I think we're going to do, we're going to make sure we have clip of the week every Friday to end the week. AJ has, Cue the Cat and in the Game Cat name changes. And so I think to kind of make it even, Wednesday has to be the day where we look back and see what happened on this day and Without Parole history. Does that work for you?
Yeah, but we should call it This Week and Without Parole history because the day never lines up.
No, it doesn't. No, I've lied to these people so many times and been like, I fudged the day just by a couple of days. No, you're right. This Week in Without Parole history. It's excellent idea. Let's see, 10, roughly 9, roughly. Okay. You want to go back to 2022, 2021? Yeah, which one? 2021 or 2022?
Let's go way back. Let's go to 2021.
All right,
These
here we go.
always tend to make me laugh. So let's see.
Yeah, this is going to be horrible. It's probably nothing happening. Here we go. Song in the Smoke, Game of the Year, plus huge Arashi combat patch out now. Spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
The combat patch probably didn't really help very much.
That's like when they gave it the pro patch, but they didn't do anything.
Yeah. I think there were a lot of developers that were trying to tell us that the pro patch made a huge difference, and it was like, no, this is the same fucking game. Dude, Song of the Smoke. This was 2021. Man,
yes,
I gave that a 10 out of 10, and I still stand by that. That game was an amazing experience. I remember AJ and I calling each other like every couple hours and being like, where are you at? How did you get through this world yet? Blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, this game keeps going. We thought it was 3 worlds. We thought it was 3 levels. And I think there were 6 or 7 or something. It was crazy. Tornado's about to fall off the desk. Come on, buddy. Come on.
I was very high on Song of the Smoke, and I remain very high on it. I think it's a great game. It's my favorite, like, survival game. I wasn't quite as high on it as you all were. You're all calling it like Game of the Year.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the year that Hitman came out. Am I right about that?
I am so bad with dates and time in general. So I'll have to, if you think so, my guess is that you're probably right.
I seem to think that Hitman came out that year, and that was our Game of the Year, and ultimately that was what the GameCats voted for as well, as I recall.
I will say that Song in the Smoke was probably my Game of the Year. I'd have to look at the full list, but because of the DualShock 4 implementation, despite the fact that I loved having 3 AAA titles in VR, the DualShock 4 implementation was the one thing keeping me from being like, calling it like my favorite Game of the Year or my favorite series of the year. Song in the Smoke, I think, probably would win that. But yeah, man. Yep. It's little conversations like this that remind me, like, oh man, I didn't have any lead time when it came to PSVR2. I wasn't sent a headset ahead of time, and I really, really struggled at launch to like get anything done because I was so overwhelmed with all the different launch titles. And the game I'm probably most disappointed in that I haven't reviewed to give it the attention it deserves is the PSVR2 version of Song in the Smoke, because that game looks beautiful. And
yeah, it's so good now too.
Yeah. The guys over there at 17-bit. No, it's not. That's not right. Who is it? Oh my God, my brain is fried. I used to know this inside out, but they were they really pushed the PSVR 2 a lot. Like they were like, what else can we do? What else, how much better can we make this? And I just kind of wish they got the credit they deserved for doing that and bringing us an awesome new version of the game at launch.
Agree, because they're traditionally a flat studio who basically made an exception because they wanted to do a VR game, and they did a great VR game, and it really didn't get the attention or critical acclaim that it deserved. Like it's an exceptional game, one of the best in the VR library, no matter which platform you play it on. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I did check. Yeah, I checked. It was 17-bit. So. Woohoo! Another one right. Yay. All right, Wes, thank you again. Thank you, cats. We'll see you soon. Come over to Discord. Hang out.